Hey, everybody, it's Tony George along with Sean Salisbury. We're talking NBA playoffs here on Thursday. And Sean, this is a game that I am avoiding like the plague for a premium play, side or total today. Now, there may be other guys over at the website that have a strong angle on this, so I'm not, doubting their integrity whatsoever. But for my money, with all the variables and intangibles tonight, Sean, I'm a little concerned about this game on numerous levels. You've got question marks with Trae Young. You also have a question mark with Capella for Atlanta, which is a big hit, especially with Young out there. And, of course, the Greek Freak is out for Giannis is out for Milwaukee here. They are a 2.5-point home favorite, Sean. You know what was interesting in the last game, and I'll turn it over to you here, but even before Giannis went down, they were down double digits without Trae Young. Again, I've said this before. I talk about coaching all the time on these shows with you. You're an high-level athlete at USC, NFL, Canada. Coaching has a lot to do with how teams perform. You're well aware of that, being a professional athlete for over 10 years and playing at a high level in college. And Nate McMillan just did a great job of out-coaching Milwaukee's coach and catching 2.5 tonight. What do you think about this game going into? Total's around 215, so they dropped the total down because some big scores out there. I don't know what to think. I've kind of got an angle on this one. Based on trends, but Sean, I don't know where to go with this thing.
I would agree. One thing we do know with Atlanta, even if I think they're questionable, is Capella and Trae Young, and with the doubtful part of Giannis on the other squad, we're not going to get 100% out of the other two in Atlanta, right? And you're so right about Nate McMillan, Tony. He's the best coach on the sidelines in this game. There's no doubt. But I also look at the pre stuff going in, because if we had to do it over again, Tony, and picking that game like we did, I would if you just said, Sean, here's $10,000, let's do it all over again, pregame again, I would have put it on Milwaukee again, because I thought, well, you go through what you break down, you look at trends, you look at stats, you look at the team, you look at the season, and I would have done it again. So I was actually shocked by not only the result, but how dominant Atlanta was. Now, we see that a lot where a team's tested, realizes how important it is. Your best player is bang, you're hurting, you're without Trae Young, so somebody steps up. Now I'm going to reverse that fortune in this one. I agree with you. If it wasn't for the purpose of this video and thinking about it and us breaking down and studying this like we have, I wouldn't touch it either. But I am going to touch it with this and with you and I and how I feel about this. They've played without Giannis quite often. In the last 3 times they have, Chris Middleton has played like a number one, although he's a really solid, Robin when it comes to this. He's going to have to step his game up, and I think he will. I do, and I think that you can count on him. We've seen him, 38 points, I believe, in Game 3. He goes through that streak where he can take games over, Tony, and I think that it's important for him to know that he can in the postseason like this again. When you're looking for a chance to put yourself in position by up 1, your star's hurt, you're 2 games away from trying to close it out. You do not want to be in this position with Giannis banged up and get down 3-2 in your own building, because then it just takes one Trae Young hot streak in the last, hot quarter or half in the last 2 games to win. So I think Milwaukee, this is an absolute, while the series wouldn't be over, this has to be a big game for them. And I'm going to tell you one other guy to look forward to. I remember it was a handful of years ago in the playoffs. You remember when Portland came to town when Drew Holiday was in New Orleans? And he shut down Dame Lillard, which is hard to do. And he averaged like 36 or 37 in 2 of those games himself. I'm expecting Drew Holiday, not only just on the defensive end to be nasty, but to score more and for them to rely on him. I like Milwaukee, and the total, the over, I would probably lean towards the under. But for me, at 2.5 points, regardless, I'm taking Milwaukee at home to respond like Atlanta did and give them a taste of their own medicine. And Nate will have to coach well, because when all's said and done, he doesn't get to shoot, but he sure did a great job. And I love Nate McMillan. I just think the players on the court take care of it tonight. Milwaukee by a 3-pointer, they win, and then we'll see if Atlanta can get healthy. But health is going to matter all the way through. And right now, overall, as we saw, the Suns are the healthiest team of all that would have been in it. And I believe the Suns are going to be your world champions. I know this premature, we'll discuss, but I think Milwaukee takes 3-2 lead tonight, and Middleton and Drew Holiday will double down.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull my big boy panties down and show you my bare rear end. I'm not convinced about the 2.5 because I think it could come right down to the last shot, but I will take Milwaukee on the money line. I'll take the points completely out of it. It's around $1.40. I think with Capella being questionable and maybe not 100% and Young being out and Milwaukee really getting embarrassed the last game. They were getting embarrassed before Giannis went down.
Yep.
And they're at home where they've absolutely beaten up everybody all year long, especially in the postseason. Obviously, they've Atlanta get game 1 in this series there, and they came back and had 2 convincing wins. But at the end of the day here, I'm going to take Milwaukee on the money line tonight, take the points out of it. You know, you take a look at Atlanta, people are like, well, and I was reading some stuff online today, Sean, from some trusted sources that I use to kind of gather some information. And there was a guy on there that I respect touting Atlanta's 11-5 against the spread the last 17 and last 16 games overall, and 13-4 against the spread the last 17 games at Milwaukee, which is impressive. But all those games at Milwaukee, when they cover those spreads, Trae Young was starting. You know, that takes – so to me, that skews those stats for tonight. Sean's going to lay the 2.5. I'm going to take the money line. Hopefully they both cover. The total to me is too close to call, Sean. They've dropped it enough here. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if it went over. I think you got a lot of role players stepping up, taking a lot of three-pointers and pushing pace and trying to win this game. This is bear in mind, folks, this is a 2-2 series right now, Sean. This is a monster game for both teams. And you got to kind of side with the home team and the home crowd here based on that. With both teams have one arm tied behind their back. I just think maybe Sean Atlantis is a little bit more tied than what, Milwaukee says.
I agree. And I actually think that I can make the argument, Tony, that if Trae Young is not there and Giannis aren't there, that the next 2 best players in this series are Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. And they both reside in Milwaukee. And it's important for them to – you're right. At 2-2, this is – well, we can hear the old cliche pivotal, but this actually – the winner of this, and I don't want to say gives you leeway, but you can still afford not to start your guy you star the next game. You don't have to put it away. If he's not close to 100%, or you risk it and say we're up 1, we'll get our guy back 100% or close for the 7th game. If it gets there, monumental. I think Middleton and Holiday are the difference, and I think they take over, and a little revenge after they were humiliated against Atlanta, who was undermanned.
Let me put out one disclaimer to everybody watching this video. You may see this video and then you may read today at 3 or 4 o'clock Eastern that all of a sudden Trae Young's going to play. If he does, I've seen this before. I've seen this movie 1,000 times, handicapping games for 30 years, Sean. You can't trust an injury report, especially in the NBA and especially these days. But if Young was going to come out and play tonight, this would be a no play. But if he's sitting on the bench, I'll stay with Milwaukee. Sean will stay with Milwaukee. I'm on the money line. Be sure and check out Sean Salisbury over there at iHeartRadio with the Sean Salisbury Show. Follow him at Sean Unfiltered on Twitter. He's always got some great stuff up there for everybody to engage with. And check me over at DocSports.com. Get a free $60. Link in the description below. And check out our Major League Baseball video today as well, folks, with a free play between the Braves and the Mets game.